Let's talk about the financial education that was available to us through the stock market this last week. The number one education piece that I think a lot of people missed was Eastman Kodak. Beyond the fact that there was leakages of the loan that they were going to receive, and it's going to end up in a congressional investigation, and the SEC's getting involved in it. And that's an education of how not to behave if something like this comes about. But I think the real education was I read an article in the Wall Street Journal about one of the executives who gifted some of his stock at $40 a share to his, I believe it was a Catholic charity. And then when the tax write-off was at $40 a share, but 2 days later, when the charity got the stock had a value of $20 a share. He still gets the charitable deduction at $40 a share, but the charity only gets half of what he gave. So he gets to write that off of his income taxes. That's a financial education. Then we have the education, on that stock. I thought it was interesting. On July 30th, it was $44 a share. Today, it's $8.25. That's some financial education. Let's look at Workhorse. I think, again, this August the 3rd, the stock was at 1944, and today it's down to 1511. Why is that? Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the situation that are wrapped around the post office right now, in that Trump is making some cutbacks on the post office so that it doesn't look like they're going to be able to deliver our ballots for the election. So our education on that is that there are some effects on the stock price that have nothing whatsoever to do with the stock price. I did a video on Workhorse this past week, and I fully believe that they will probably get the $6.3 million contract, and they'll be able to go and lease or buy that empty factory in Ohio, and everybody will be happy in Ohio, and everybody will be happy in Washington. I think it's kind of interesting that the trucks are going to cost the government roughly $33,000 a piece. I don't see I can buy a pretty good car for $33,000, and all a delivery truck is a box on wheels with either an electric or a ICE motor. The other thing I think we learned this past week as financial education is if you want to make your stock price go up, split it. We saw Apple go from $380 to $458. We saw Tesla go from $1,335 to $1,643. That's a pretty good rise, just for not changing the value of the stock whatsoever, just giving 5 shares for every one that you have. Now, the other thing I think that is in that issue on Apple, a little bit of a pullback at the end because they got some legal issues. They're taking Fortnite or something off of their Apple Store, so they'll be affected by that. And then as far as Tesla, what I think is that one's going to keep going up because we got Battery Day coming up, and then we have all likelihood that Tesla is going to become a part of the S&P 500, and all the mutual funds and ETFs that are representative of the S&P 500 will be buying Tesla stock. So I think that's a good thing. Then another lesson, education of the stock market last week was Microsoft and the Tic Tok. It's on again, off again. Don't get the cart before the horse, I guess, is the education there. And once again, it seems like Washington, D.C. steps in and kind of messes up the deal. And I guess the education is if it has China anywhere around it, be skeptical because there's too much interest, there's too much fear, there's too much skepticism around that sort of thing. Then gold. Gold got up to $1,966, and now today it's down to 1853. I'm not sure why. I think maybe the dollar gained some strength. But we still have the huge debt that we have, and even though the Congress can't seem to come to a decision of what they're going to do for the next relief package, which is putting an awful lot of people in jeopardy, and the gold price went down. Then I want to talk about some stocks that have come to the surface of my attention that I'm going to speak about in the next week. The first one, Plug Power, a very interesting stock that went since July 31st. It went from $7.71 to $11.40. That's a pretty good bump for a stock that is not profitable, but has some technology that is cutting edge and is being adapted by some Amazon, by Walmart, by people like that. So we need to look at that and educate ourselves next week. So I'm going to do a video about that. Another one that a lot of my tribe you've been suggesting I take a look at is Fastly. Fastly it's interesting. It's one of those stocks that just for years went like this and then whoop, whoop, whoop. Which looks like a pump and dump, but I from what you all tell me, I don't think it is. But again, August 4th, it was 115. Today, it's down to 76. So we need to educate ourselves about that this coming week. And then Hyliion. Hyliion is a stock that Sherry in Dallas has really been probing me to take a long look at, and I spent this morning taking a long look at it, and I'm going to do a video on it. Here, it's a stock that on August 3rd was at $19 a share. Today it's at $25.65. The last 2 days had a nice bump in it. And I think I really like this one. I like the concept of, and just to give you some overview on it, it's a company that in the trucking business. And as we know, the trucks are running up and down the highways, and it is a major part of our economy. And from what I understand, these big semis can cost up to about $200,000 per truck. And there's a movement, as you know, to make them electric. But if you have a fleet of trucks, you're not going to go out and discard those trucks and buy all new electric trucks. You're just not going to do that. But if you can alter those trucks and make them semi-electric, and that's what Hyliion is in. I kind of compare it to, I live in a house. And do I want to go buy another house, or do I want to stay in the house I've got and just redecorate the kitchen and the bathrooms? And I think we need to educate ourselves on Hyliion. What I think we're seeing is a convergence of technology, a convergence of demographics. I alluded in a video I did on Teledoc and Live and Go that there's also a convergence of the aging population. We have 79 million baby boomers who started reaching retirement age in 2011 and will continue through 2035. That's going to change the demographic of the medical field. So we have changes going on there. We have a push for green and eliminating our carbon footprint and cleaning up the air. And all this technology is coming together that makes it imperative that each week we sit down and we educate ourselves about what's happening in the world we live in. And one of the biggest education drivers is going to be this pandemic. It's going to change the way we live. And so along the line of education, I want to once again implore you to read this book. If you want a window into the world of tomorrow, written before the pandemic, but nonetheless, I think you will see some insights as to what is going to be hot and what is not, and where you need to invest. We are a tribe. We're growing leaps and bounds. I can't believe what is happening this week. We're going to very quickly get to 1 million views a month, which is substantial growth. And we're a tribe of people who are trying to reach 1 million of us so that we can put our minds together, our eyes together, our ears together, and keep abreast of what's going on in the financial worlds, whether it be in real estate or whether it be in the stock market. I think it's imperative that each one of us find multiple checks. That is to say, multiple sources of income, and the data digital revolution provides many opportunities, and that's another thing we talk about within the tribe. So if you want to become a member of the tribe, sign up over here at bestofusinvestors.com. That'll entitle you to go to our Discord. It'll entitle you to every morning receiving a letter from me with an overview of what the market is doing. And then we got some other things coming that are going to be benefits of the Best of Us Investors. So sign up there. It's free. And why is it free? Because I don't want anything from you other than your knowledge, other than your experience, other than your intelligence. I want you to share that with me so I can share it with everybody else, so we can all get rich together. And we're going to do that through financial education.